Happy Thanksgiving. Good news for the 49ers. The Detroit Lions lose to the Green Bay Packers. Final score 31-24. That means that San Francisco now essentially has a two-game cushion when it comes to the seventh and final playoff spot in the NFC, because the 49ers are 8-4 and the Lions have now dropped to 7-5. But the first tiebreaker is conference record. That's where the 49ers have really excelled. They are 8-2 against the NFC, and the Lions dropped to 4-4. So for Detroit to steal that final playoff spot from the 49ers, they'd have to gain two games over the course of the final month. Gives the 49ers very, very good positioning. That's why they've got that 89-90% chance to make the NFC playoffs. As is often the case when two of your rivals are beating up on each other, and the 49ers had that in NFC context today with Detroit and Green Bay, regardless of the outcome, you're going to benefit. And the 49ers, even if they had seen the Detroit Lions win, that they would have seen a benefit. They would have moved up to number 6, passing the Green Bay Packers. They stay at number 7 because of the Lions' loss. It's going to be tough to pass Green Bay just because it's a really strong team. But Green Bay also has the tie on their record. They didn't outright lose to the Dallas Cowboys, and that's something that has prevented the 49ers from passing Green Bay. But Detroit, that's really the team that the 49ers have wanted to make sure that they stave off. It's funny that Lions, you look at that team, and they obviously have lost play calling juice with Ben Johnson in Chicago now. And obviously the Bears have gotten play calling juice. They're 8-3 on this season. But Dan Campbell is now calling the plays. The Lions, they're still aggressive. They still go for it on these fourth downs, but it's the type of plays that they run. They had a 4th and 3. Jared Goff was in the midst of a 15 completion streak, and they just decided to run it into a wall. And then obviously you saw the Jameson Williams drop. That was a tough break. That ended the 15 completion streak. Nobody is infallible in this league this year. The Packers, who everybody thought were going to be this powerhouse that was completely unbeatable, they've lost a handful of games this year, including to the Carolina Panthers, the team that the 49ers just beat on Monday Night Football. Micah Parsons obviously wrecked this game with 2.5 sacks and big sacks and quarterback hits at high leverage, high intensity moments. But if the Lions don't commit these self-inflicted errors with the Jameson Williams drop, with the decision to run it on 4th and 3, even though Jared Goff was in the midst of a hot streak, I think that Detroit scores 30 plus on the Green Bay defense. So it just goes to show you that the Packers are nowhere near a two-sided juggernaut. And the Detroit Lions have obviously fallen off what used to be their great strength, the schematic strength, playing in with Jared Goff and some of the speed and some of the power on that offense. I think the schematic strength is gone for the Lions, and they don't have a world-beating defense. So both of those teams are very, very beatable. And I have a lot of respect for what Green Bay has been able to do offensively. Jordan Love is leading the league in some of the efficiency metrics. They throw it deep an awful lot. I would caution, though, anybody watching Green Bay thinking that this is an offense that's going to score 30 plus automatically any given Sunday. I mean, they play in one of the more hostile weather situations in the league at Lambeau Field. They've got an offense built for a dome. Now, I get it. Josh Jacobs is a power runner, and they could succeed even in bad weather. But their offensive strength, all of these deep passes, all these aggressive heaves downfield, the second that there's inclement weather, Green Bay's top offensive go-to weapon, that deep pass, is going to be compromised. And there's a reason why some of these arid out teams don't play as well in January and then sometimes into February. But February is usually going to be in a warm weather spot for the Super Bowl. But the reason is that weather and good weather, weather like this, like we've got out in Tennessee today, is often needed to facilitate these long-range passing attacks. So very, very interesting indeed to watch the Lions and the Packers go at it in a dome. And I saw two teams whom the 49ers could upset. I would think that they might even be favored over the Lions. They'd probably be underdogs against the Packers. And it's all going to depend on how well Brock Purdy and the offense can continue to elevate the 49ers in terms of the x-axis when you look at my XY chart that I show a lot. And obviously it's going to depend on if that 49ers defense can continue along the trajectory that they showed against the Carolina Panthers. You need to have balance at the end of the day. And I think that on Monday night, San Francisco showed that they may be worthy once the playoff comes. They may be worthy once playoff time comes of demonstrating the type of balance that puts you into the upper right quadrant of those graphs, especially since they've got the ace in the hole, and that is special teams. I mean, the 49ers special teams unit this year, it's been the opposite of last season, where it was the Achilles heel of this team. It is one of the strengths of this football team in 2025. Next, we've got the Cowboys and the Chiefs. This one doesn't have as many implications for the 49ers in the NFC race, but Dallas is 5-5-1. If Dallas wins this game, they're going to have a winning record. It would take an upset, but it wouldn't shock me. They've been playing better defense ever since Quinnen Williams showed up. The Cowboys, they're fringe contenders for that number 7 spot. I don't think that you can fully take your eye off of them because they have been playing really good offense this year. Dak Prescott is having a nice season for the Cowboys. So say that the Quinnen Williams trade turns this into an average defense in Dallas, then look out, because they notch a couple more upsets, they win a few more games, and the 49ers, I don't think anybody expects the 49ers to go undefeated from here on out. There still could be some vulnerability, despite the fact that they were insulated today at that number 7 spot by the Green Bay Packers win and the Detroit Lions loss. You can see why the 49ers Monday night win over the Carolina Panthers was such a big deal. And it's because the Panthers were the 49ers' primary competition for that number 7 spot. Mathematically, when you looked at the records, the fact that they beat the Packers was huge in the NFC standings. So the 49ers winning that game on Monday night, it boosted their playoff probability like a good 27 points, from 62 to 89%. Now, combine that with the Lions loss, and the 49ers really are sitting pretty, but you've got to continue winning football games. And in the near term, it's winning a game that you're favored over the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Again, the weather's not going to be like this. It's not going to be sunny in Cleveland. It might be snowy. The snow and the precipitation might subside by Sunday, but there's a chance that it's still going to be there. It's going to be windy for sure coming off the lake. So against the top-ranked defense, that's not going to be an easy challenge for the 49ers. Then there's the bye week. Then there's Tennessee. So the 49ers could be 10-4 by the time that they hit the big game against the Indianapolis Colts on December 22nd. But nothing is guaranteed. Right now they're 8-4 with a little bit of a cushion, but they've got to work on continuing to insulate that cushion as they enjoy this Thanksgiving. Good news for the 49ers. Lions lose. That number 7 stranglehold getting a little bit stronger for the 49ers. And hey, maybe they could even move up if they keep on winning. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I took a few minutes outside the house and I got to head back in. We're going to be eating fairly soon. Everybody take care.